Assalamu alaikum student, grade 5. Hope you all would be safe and fine at home. Yes student, in the last class we have started our lesson number 3, Life in a Desert. Okay, in the last class we studied about the type of the deserts. Today we will study about the land of the desert. Okay, about which the land of the desert, that which type of land is there in the desert. Okay. About 1/8 of the Earth land surface is desert. You know that about 1/8 of the Earth land surface is desert, but not all the deserts are sand. Some are rocky and some are sandy. Some deserts are caused by too much cultivation, means for the long area people grow crops over there. Then what happens? When good fertile land is used for too long, too many trees are cut down and all the water is used up. The land becomes barren and unproductive. This is one of the main reasons that a fertile land, can change into the state of a desert when there is too much cultivation for a long period of time. Deserts are also created when grazing animals eat up all the vegetation and the land gradually becomes barren. This is one of the main reasons. This is also one of the main reasons. First, we saw that too much cultivation, and the second one is when grazing animals eat up all the vegetation. Okay, the dry soil is blown away by the winds, strong winds, and plants can no longer grow there. In sandy desert, what happens in the sandy desert? In sandy deserts, the sand is not always flat. You can't say that sand is in the same state all over the time. No. Crescent shaped dunes are formed by the winds. Strong winds blow in the desert areas. Hot, strong winds. In desert in the Middle East, there are dry river beds called wadis. If there is any rain at all, a wadi can flood within minutes. As you can see the example in Sohar as well, you have seen many wadis. When the rain comes, what happened? These wadis flood within minutes and the road blocks. As this is the example of the rocky desert, means rocks are there all over the area and the climate is full dry and hot. And this is example of the sandy deserts. Okay, and sometimes what happened in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the desert there is a source of water. Perhaps it is a spring or a water hole in the form of a well. Trees such as the date palm and other hardy plants can grow around it. Often a small settlement forms around the spring. Such an area is called an oasis. You have heard the word oasis before this? Yes, most of the students have heard it. What is oasis? Oasis is the source of water. We can say that if we found a source of water in the desert, it is in the form of a spring or a well. What happens? In these areas, you can also see the picture over there. This is a picture of oasis. What happened? The water comes in the middle of the desert, and in these oases the grows vegetation occurs, like in the form of palm trees, in the form of palm trees, as you can also see in the picture as well. Now we will see about the vegetation. What is vegetation? Vegetation is plants growing of plants, and we know that in the desert there is no fertile land, means no vegetation is over there, but still which type of plants grow over there? We will study it. Desert plants have few leaves and thick, fleshy stems. What type of plants are there? They are having few leaves and thick, fleshy stems. These plants are usually spiny, means these plants are having the spines over there on their skin. This is the reason due to these spines, many animals can't eat these plants. The thick stems, what is the use of these thick stems? Thick stems store water because in deserts plants don't have much water, and whenever their rain falls, it happens that these plants store water in their stems, and the spines prevent desert animals from eating the plant, as I have told you before. The root of desert plants spread very far in search of food. And these roots spread very far, but you know that these roots are not so deep. Not so deep. This is the reason when the rain comes, these stems, these roots store water in their stems, and it prevent them to soak into the ground. And know students that one of the famous desert plant, what's the name? Yes, cactus. Cactus is the example of plant which we found in desert, as you can also see in the picture as well. This is cactus. It is also has spines on its skin. Okay, and it is thick and having fleshy stems. Now we will see that which type of animals we found in desert. Animals and people. First we will discuss about the animals. Desert may be dry and unwelcoming. As we all know that deserts are dry and welcoming for all, but still there are some animal life which live over there, which we found over there, like lizards, snakes, scorpions, foxes, gerbils, hedgehogs, insects, and birds live in the deserts. In Australia, we are giving here the example of Australia, as we have read before Australian desert. There are kangaroos and wallabies. As you can also see here in the picture, snake, lizard, scorpio, gerbo, gerbils, hedgehogs, foxes, and camel. And camel we see in Pakistan, and we see in here in Oman as well, because Oman is also the area of Middle East where there are desert area it is. Some area is rocky desert and some area is of sandy desert. And one of the famous animal of desert is camel, especially in the Thar desert, which is in Pakistan, Arabian desert, which is the Middle East area, and the Sahara desert. Camel are used to transport goods and people. Why? Because camel is also known as a ship of the desert. It is called the ship of the desert because it can travel for many miles across the sand. Many miles it can travel. It can store water for a long time. Even it is said that it can store water for 7 months as well. So it does not need to drink often. Its flat, padded feet do not sink into the sand. Its long eyelashes protect its eyes from the sand. It can also close its nostrils to keep the sand out. In these ways, it is adapted to life in the desert. Okay, students? Now we will see about the people, that which type of people can live over there in this area. The human population, a very less number of people is living in the desert. The human population of desert region is very low because of harsh climate, lack of vegetation and water, and the most undeveloped land do not attract people to settle there. We all know about these reasons why someone should attract towards the desert. Mostly, which type of a people are living there? Nomadic tribes. Which type of people? Nomadic tribes who travel from one place to another, who don't settle on one place for a long period of time. They keeps on traveling, like the Bedouin in Arabia, the Tuareg in the Western Sahara, are the Bushmen of the Kalahari live in these areas. These all are the names of the tribes, famous tribes, as you can also see in these pictures. Sahara nomadic tribes and Arabian and Kalahari nomadic tribes. These are the pictures taken from these nomadic tribes. Okay, students, this was all for the today's class. If you are having any question, you can ask me on Google Classroom, or you can also send your query on my WhatsApp number as well. Okay, student, till then, for the next week, we will meet again, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.